Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Real School Wednesday Lunch and Learn. We've got a great class lined up. Christy from Doorify is here to start peeling back the layers on all the exciting stuff that we could do in Doorify. But first, we've got Mary Woodard from Edward Jones. She's a financial advisor there. So she's going to come up and talk a little bit about what we could do as agents to start putting away for retirement. So,
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So as you mentioned, my name is Mary Woodard. I'm a financial advisor, but I'm also a certified financial planner. So I really appreciate sitting down with you, understanding what you're trying to accomplish, who you are, what motivates you as far as money is concerned. And then we can put together some financial strategies that will help you reach your overall arching goals. A little bit about myself. I moved here about 4 years ago from St. Louis, Missouri. And prior to going into finance about 17 years ago, I was actually a realtor in the St. Louis area. So I understand what it's like being a 1099 employee, right? Maybe trying to hire some part-time staff to assist you, right, as your business is growing. So I have an appreciation for realtors as I was in your shoes for about a 5-year time frame. So any questions that you have as it relates to your personal situation and being that independent contractor, I'd be happy to meet with to answer any questions that you have. But today we'll talk a little bit about retirement and how, as independent contractors, can you really start putting more money away for retirement? And what are some of the benefits of putting your money into retirement accounts as opposed to maybe just taxable accounts as well? You have some packets in front of you, so there will be handouts of more detailed information of some of the concepts that I'll cover with you today. And then the last page in your packet, I did include just a handout on 1031 exchanges. So if you all are working with investors that are doing 1031 exchanges, it's just informational, might be presented a little bit differently than maybe some of the information that you guys get. So hopefully it's a little bit more friendly for your clients as far as some of the definition and what's all involved with that 1031 exchange. When I was in real estate, I did work with investors, and so I've completed 1031 exchanges in a professional capacity as well. We don't serve as like the intermediary in Edward Jones.
That's what everybody makes my hand like, please tell me you do that.
No, don't. But this sheet is really more just kind of informational. Hopefully it's easy for your clients to understand if they are entering into that. So just wanted you to have that as well. So when I say the word retirement, how does that make you feel as an individual?
I'm ready.
Ready. Okay. I would say it's usually a spectrum of emotions, right, for individuals. Some people are excited, right? Some people feel confident that they have the finances to go ahead and go into retirement. Maybe you've got some multiple streams of income with some rental property income or something like that as well. But for a lot of us, or the vast majority of Americans, they don't feel prepared. So hopefully today, the information that I'll share with you will start increasing your confidence that you can get to whatever you're looking for in the future by taking some steps now to get yourself on a good path. So when we think about retirement, it's always important, really any financial goals, to understand where are you today? So what does your personal financial situation look like? What are you envisioning for life and retirement? Are you going to stay on and work part-time potentially? Maybe not having the full-scale business that you all have today. And then once you have an idea of where you are today, where it is you want to be in the future, we can really start defining some strategies and goals to start charting your course towards that future. When you think about retirement, I want you to think about the rule of 25. And so what the rule of 25 is showing us here on the screen, it's a simple equation. Think about how much you need an investment portfolio to provide you with income in your first year of retirement and multiply that number by 25. So conservative rate of return to make sure that you don't eat into the principal of your portfolio in the 30 plus years that you'll be in retirement is a 4% withdrawal rate. While you're in retirement, you want to stay within that 4 to 6% withdrawal rate of what your investment portfolio is. So the rule of 25 is if you need $40,000 from your investment portfolio in the first year of retirement, that means you need $1 million in that portfolio to preserve that principle to last you throughout your lifetime. If you were to think about it slightly differently, from the perspective of realistically, you could probably get away with a 5% withdrawal rate. You need about 1.5 million in a portfolio to generate about $75,000 worth of income for you over the long run. Those are just some high level numbers.
75,000 a year, right?
A year, yes, because we're wanting that to last, 30 plus years in retirement. The 4 to 6% withdrawal rate from your portfolio really means that your portfolio is going to sustain and last you, that's 30 plus years. Any questions about that? So that number can seem overwhelming for people, right? $1 million, 1.5 million. How do I get started? When you think about investing, though, think about the power of 3. You've got time, money, as well as return that factors into your portfolio, right? So let's just look at a quick example here. If you were to start saving $450 a month and received a 6% rate of return, that first chart that you'll see on the left-hand side there tells you that over 30 years, you'll have $450,000 saved. If we think about the power of time, then, if you were to save 5 years sooner, so right, a total of 35 years that you're saving, that same 450 would be $640,000. If you think about just the power of money and you were to increase your savings by $100 to $550 a month over the same 30 years with a 6% rate of return, you would have $450,000 as opposed to the 450. I'm sorry, 550. The power of return is if you received a 7% return still on just investing $450 a month over 30-year time period, you would also have 550, that same 100,000, right? As if you were to save an extra 100. Now, when you combine those all together over the time period, 7% rate of return, investing 550 a month over a 35 timeline, you'll have $990,000 as opposed to that original 450. So you can exponentially change, right, the long-term size of your portfolio by making little changes today with what it is that you're saving. Any questions about that? So as independent contractors, right, you don't have a big employer, right, that's going to be matching you towards your own retirement. They're not offering you a 401k, right? That really falls on your shoulders, right? As far as how are you going to be saving for retirement? So overall, there's really 2 main ways that people save for retirement. There are what are called individual retirement accounts, so IRAs, and then there's the employer-sponsored retirement plans. A lot of independent contractors don't know, though, that you actually have access to employer-sponsored retirement plans. You are your own employer, and so you could actually open your own employer-sponsored retirement for yourself. What's nice when we talk about IRAs, right? Individual retirement accounts, the government caps the amount of money that you can contribute into any retirement account. With a traditional IRA or Roth IRA, if you're under age 50, you can only contribute $7,000 a year, right, to your retirement goals. We're talking about needing $1 million in the future, right? Is $7,000 a year really going to help us get there? Probably not. Everybody familiar with a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA? Okay, so we understand that Roths are great because you take money out tax-free because money went into it. You already paid taxes on, right? And then the traditional IRA, you get a tax benefit for the dollars that go in. So then when you pull money out, the government wants their cut, right, of that taxes when you start taking withdrawals. Go ahead.
For me, I didn't know about this for way too long. Yeah. When I first started, I was like, this seems like the first easiest thing I should have learned as to how to put money aside for myself, because $7,000 is typically very attainable for most people.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they understand that it comes off of their income. It's like you're paying yourself back, essentially. And so all of that to say, because there are some new agents in the room.
Yeah.
This is the first thing you should be doing for your retirement, in my opinion. And I feel like To me, that's the easiest question. Like, if I'm starting somewhere, where should I start? And would you agree that where?
Absolutely. I would say a traditional IRA account, if you're looking for a tax deduction, right, is a benefit. There are income limits, right, on what the government will allow you to receive a tax benefit for. So we can talk about that with your individual situation. And then Roth IRAs, you also phase out as you start making a certain amount of money. You'll no longer be able to contribute to a Roth. But I would say when you're starting out, and particularly, and if you're in a single person making under about $110,000 a year, definitely I'd encourage you to start with a Roth and just pay the taxes now, so that that money is continuing to grow, so that you can withdraw it tax-free in retirement.
What about doing the backdoor?
Backdoor Roths are complicated, and we have to look at your individual situation, but absolutely backdoor Roths, once you phase out of the income limit to be able to contribute to a Roth, as with everything, right? There's a way around it. So we can talk about that, absolutely. So then from a perspective with a business retirement plan or an employer-sponsored plan, what's nice about these is if you open one of them, there's a SEP IRA, simple IRA, as well as an owner-only 401k. If you're, a sole entrepreneur, right? That's kind of where I would want you to work towards. These just allow you to save more than that $7,000 a year with the individual retirement accounts. So if you're looking to try to contribute $70,000 a year or more to retirement, we would want to set up one of these employer retirement plans. The biggest difference between a SEP, a simple, and a 401k is the SEP doesn't allow you to defer any of your salary into that SEP IRA. It's only employer contributions. So with a simple IRA or a owner-only 401k, you can defer part of your income, and then as the employer, you can give yourself a match, and then that really maximizes the additional amount of money that you can put into your plan. Now, there's also requirements as far as a percent of compensation that you can contribute as an employer, but we can dive into those details if you have interest in that.
Are there any restrictions as far as the entity formation on its own? Like, do you need to be, let's say, an S corp, an LLC, or a sole proprietor, or?
These, no.
No. Okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing is you have to have earned income. So it can't just be like an owner equity withdrawal. The government wants earned income for retirement contributions. But again, if you're a pass-through entity, it's your dollars anyway.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Cool.
Yep. Why are retirement accounts beneficial, right? It's all about tax deferral. Once the money goes into those retirement accounts, it continues to grow tax-free over time. So if we're looking at someone who's saving about $750 a month into a taxable account compared to a tax deferred account, right? A retirement account, that same person investing in a taxable account would only have, $655,000. Whereas if that were in a tax deferred account, you have to pay taxes along the way in a taxable account, that same amount of money would be worth $805,000. And this is over a 25-year time period with a 6% rate of return. So the tax deferral is really why you want to get that money into a retirement account. So you're not paying taxes over 25 years on that money. And so if you're thinking about what can I do today, right now, for my future retirement tomorrow, I'm available. If you would like to set up time, we can talk about your personal situation, and we can dive into that together. Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for lunch.
Absolutely.
Hey, would you be willing, I don't want to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but would you be willing to come back and talk for 45 minutes about this stuff?
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I crammed a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I know we have a lot of questions out there, and I hate to cut you short, but
Yeah, I'd be happy
if
to.
we can get back in touch with you, I'd love to have you back out.
Most definitely.
Okay, perfect. Because like I said, I see a lot of brains working out there and stuff, and like, oh, I wish I'd ask for this, but
Yeah.
So I'll get in touch with you when we're needed.
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Make that same spot.
Yes. There you go. That's what it's supposed to do.
Dan help it along.
A little bit. Oh, it's got you questions there. Press down, but
Me.
See.
There we go.
Oh. I don't even know why I'm doing this.
It's okay.
Or just a picture of her. I don't know. Come on. Thank you. No. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Be good.
So this is Christy from Doorify.
MLS.
Oh, love you, April.
Why is it doing? Hold on, I'm sorry. I don't know what it's doing.
Okay, here we can try a little different. It may not like the dongle.
Make sure it's plugged in all the way, Keith.
It could be the dongle, it's fine. And we had a fun update this morning, so it's probably not you, it's probably more me. Perfectly fine. It's gonna stay. And if it doesn't stick, it's okay. I can talk over it.
Okay.
It's only really for me. You guys really don't care.
Everybody look at it.
Hi, I'm Christy Webster. I'm the broker growth and partnership manager with Doorify MLS. Some of you may remember me as Christy Robertson.
Yes, you're ready to say that. I'm.
Okay, and it will always be triangle because we're historic in nature. I have been with the MLS for, oh my God, over 10 years now. I'm also a recovering realtor. I always like to tell people that so we can get it out of the way. Hi, my name is Christy. I got my license in the 1900s. Someone actually pointed out yesterday because they asked me when I got it, and I said it was 1987. And they went, "Do what?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm old." But I also no longer have a real estate license. Best choice ever made for me. Might not be the right choice for other people, but I love what I'm doing now, probably more than I did when I was working with builders, buyers, sellers. It's really hard what you have to do every day. So I much respect for that. For those of you that just started, whew, you got to find you a good mentor. And if you don't know what that looks like, there's some people in this room that are. We're going to talk about what Doorify, the multiple listing service, brings to you, because in this area in Johnston County, you're actually in a space where you can choose. You're not limited. However, you got to know what you need to make a choice. So in Johnston County, we actually have multiple counties in this area that actually have two MLSs that lay over top of each other. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. We have a great relationship with Hive MLS, formerly known as North Carolina Regional, commonly called Flex MLS. So Flex MLS is actually an MLS system. It's in our MLS as well, but it's just how it works. And so we're going to talk a lot about what that looks like today. I love it when you interrupt me. I do not like it when you just stare at me. I get a little bored and sad. So please talk to me while we're doing this. It'll make things easier. So I'm going to talk a lot about who we are. So we here at Doorify are the 34th largest MLS in the country. It's a tiny little thing. Somebody goes, 34 out of how many? 50? No, there are actually 523 MLSs across North America. Notice I said North America, did not say the United States, because there are multiple MLSs within Canada that actually count in ours, because they are all participants of the Council for Multiple Listing Services. And we'll talk a lot about that. We cover 16 counties roughish. It's closer to 18 when you consider some of our data shares and other things that are going on. So I know a lot of you are probably really familiar with this and comfortable with it, but I want to talk a lot about it. And I'm a mover. Sorry, keep going mess with your filming.
You're fine.
But there's some things that our board of directors made some changes to that change who you are. And that's like our value system changed, because we started having conversation about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, when our new CEO arrived, because we do strat planning every year, a little strategic planning, never hurt anybody, but we had to figure out where does we want to align ourselves. And that meant aligning with community a lot better. And community is not a limitation set by an organization. It is who we serve. We serve realtors. We serve communities, right? We serve communities. That's the people that live in those areas, as well as current and future home buyers and homeowners. That's who we serve. We also have this side thing where we have to serve statistical and media needs. So we need things to work appropriately to be in that place. And you'll hear us talk a lot about connecting with people with property, empowering real estate professionals, and supporting consumers. Those things don't work if we don't work well. So Keith asked me this earlier, we were talking about it, and I said, we actually about 3 years ago decided to peek underneath the door that we kind of been holding closed for so long to see what was out there on the other side. And when we did, the floodgates open. And we have been in a sprint ever since. Not in a negative way, but in a, oh my God, look at how cool all this tech is. And now we got to give it to everybody because you guys need it and you shouldn't have had to wait this long. Doorify as an organization is almost 30 years old. MLSs in general are not old anywhere in the United States. It's a newish kind of thing, that sharing. But for us, we wanted to stop being in the shadows and become an industry leader. And we have. Doorify last year alone was presented with the Inman MLS Reinvented Award, the RISO Standardization Organization's Leading Edge Award, the Council of Multiple Listing Shuttleworth MLS Executive Award, and the FBS Bev Reed Award. These don't mean anything to y'all, but people on my side, we're like, dang, we're doing really good. There's others. The list is actually longer. I just felt like you would not really want to see all of that. 2 of those really matter because they're individuals' work that caused us to be where we are. Our CEO, Matt Fowler, was recognized as the 10th recipient of the MLS Executive Award for leadership, and that is stepping us beyond where we're comfortable. My teammate and a business analyst and now product owner for Doorify MLS, Samantha Pulowski, was recognized by the parent company of Flex MLS. As she refers to it as, I was pesky and bugged them and made their product better award. But this award for them, the Bev Reed Award, is for the MLS staff person who brought the questions and the energy to the table that made them a better organization. And that's what we did. And we work with her every day. She's pretty freaking awesome. I'm like super duper impressed. So it is one of those things. Doorify. Well, we're going to play a really loud video. I'm going to apologize in advance because it is super duper loud. We changed our name. April and I will forever call it Triangle MLS because we have history. So Triangle MLS existed for 26 years. And last September, we rebranded. We didn't do a name change. We rebranded because we needed to. Triangle is very specific. You guys all, if you've lived in this area, anytime you hear the Triangle, it's the Research Triangle Park, it's Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill. I'm standing in Johnston County, one of the fastest growing areas in North Carolina. Look out, you will get run over. My husband's first home he ever bought was $54,000 in Clayton. Y'all find me a lot for $54,000 and it would be a miracle. It might be a postage stamp. Things like that don't exist anymore. It was not that long ago either. We were talking about that as I was driving down here today. He called me. So we needed to find a way to talk about who we are and what we bring better. Doorify is a made up word. It came out of a lot of discussion. It's like Zillow, which actually came from zillions of pillows. For those of you that are not aware, that's where that came from. Zillions of pillows got smushed together to make Zillow. It is now recognized by Webster's. When you have a word that is yours, it's defendable, it's copyrightable, and that's where we needed to get. And it explains better what we do. At some point, the MLS piece will drop and you'll just call us Doorify because that's really where we want to go. We also bought the domain, so we own them now, and so it's ours and it's totally defendable. In doing that, we launched DoorifyMLS.com. I'm going to show it to you live too, so we'll have time to talk about that a little bit. Included in that are consumer-friendly statistics. There's ways to connect with the brokers that have properties listed in our market. If it is your listing and you all of a sudden get this really weird email from Doorify MLS that says that consumer Mary Jane would like to go see this house, that's real, that's not fake. That's us connecting you with the consumer that found your listing on DoorifyMLS.com. Answer them, schedule your showing, go sell a house. It's pretty simple, right? So just be aware that those things are real. We asked because we wanted to make sure that you were getting there first. You're getting recognized first. You're not having to repay for something that was already should have been yours. We also have partnered with the Keenan Flagler School of Business. We have blog writers that write for us, and we are building content. So if you have not already started looking, go to doorifymls.com/news. Steal it, post it, share it. It's there for you. It's very consumer friendly. It's designed to help raise your level of expertise. And the partnership we actually have our own PhD candidate that works on nothing but Doorify statistic work at Keenan Flagler. It's a really amazing partnership, and really smart people do that. All right, so today you have an active real estate license. You were at the real estate commission. You could join Doorify MLS in under 2 minutes. You just go to the website, fill out some forms. We see you at the commission. You're good to go. It's that simple now. It used to be really complicated. It used to take weeks, maybe 3 weeks at times. It depends on where the commission is. Sometimes we're in July now. We might be a little quicker. We're building things to make it more automated. Last year alone, we did $10 million in transactions a business hour. That's how hard the realtors that subscribe to Doorify work. $10 million an hour. That is a tiny little drop in the bucket when you think about it, of how many actions. This is across all classes of residential. This does not include any commercial that kind of got popped in our MLS. We pull those out when we look at the statistics. So that's about $21 billion, right? So we're currently tracking slightly ahead of the worst year we've had in the last 5 years of real estate. Last year stunk. You were not aware of that. Last year was the worst year we've had in the last 5 years. Terrible real estate wise, right? We didn't sell a lot. People were quiet. It was not a bad year in real estate. It was if you were here, you're like, God, I don't know why I did this. This is a hard job to have, to be selling real estate right now. Nobody's buying. This year, we've been tracking within 5 days, plus or minus, where we were last year. And we're like, but now we're starting to see the uptick because people are like, okay, things have settled down. Now we're really going to start to watch the uptick. We are at this trajectory, we'll hit about $24 billion in closed sales. So that's a pretty good number. In our market, here's where unique anomalies happen. 92% of those transactions used cooperating brokerages. That meant that you and I sat across the table, not in the same firm, and closed a deal. Can't beat that. It takes that kind of relationship building to make this market work. And it is relationship based, right? Relationships are all different types. Doorify did something a few years ago, and for those of you in the room that don't know, we standardized our language. For those of us that have been in the industry a while, was uncomfortable because you're sitting there going, what's happening to my words I was used to? Things don't sound the same. But the Real Estate Standardization Organization, we've been part of as an MLS since their inception. But my teammate, the award-winning Samantha Pulowski, and myself spent 2 years staring at line item by line item, every single category, class, word, name, anything you can think of within our MLS system, and mapped it to what the RESO standard language would be. All right, this is the example I like to give. Active, contingent, pending, closed. That's not what they are anymore, but that's what we were accustomed with. Active, contingent, pending, closed. Those fields in RESO are active under contract, pending, and closed now, right? All right, so we've got a little language deviation. If I were to go look at where the data dictionary mapping was, there were 500 different words for active, contingent, pending, and closed. 500 different ones. All but 4 were unique to an individual MLS. So standardizing language creates something for you guys that's unique. It means everything is interoperable. It means if you stepped out and went somewhere else, you would fully understand the language being spoken in that other market. It also means that we can pick up a new product and just go with the flow. It's easy. We plug and play. It just changes the way things work. It also opened up the vending machine. I am a Coke girl, not a Pepsi girl. I did grow up here. I have a family member that owns Pepsi-Cola bottling plant in Roanoke Rapids. I will tell you, I don't like Pepsi. Never have, never will, and I may be from here. I'm a Coke girl. It's just who I am when I'm drinking it. That's what I want. But I want to walk up to the vending machine and get what I want. You want to walk up to the vending machine and get what you want. That's how it works. That is the way people are. We like what we like. So we decided that instead of you having one way to search for data through your MLS system, you should be able to pick. For the last 10 years or so, almost 12 now, 10 years before this, the board of directors and the MLS executive staff dictated the type of MLS system you as a broker in our market could use. We said there is one choice and one singular choice only. This is what you have to use. Get over it. That is a terrible way for us to handle someone who's independently employed and works for themselves. So we came back and we said, okay, how do we fix this? Because we've done all the work to standardize language, we're able to offer you a choice. So I relocate here from California. I'd rather use Matrix. Great, plug and play, go to work. I have been using Flex because I'm part of Hive MLS. I'd like to just start use it. Paragon still exists. But which one's going to be the fastest and most efficient? I don't want to tell you. I want you to figure out what works best in your business model. You work across multiple MLSs. The other one uses another product. Use it. Make it easier on yourself. Don't make it more difficult. It is designed to be that way. Paragon's parent company was sold about 2 years ago. They were purchased by a company called ICE Mortgage. I'm going to say it again, ICE Mortgage. They dedicate this much of their R&D budget to MLS systems. They love the collaboration center because, as any good mortgage company would, they see that as a potential lead for a future mortgage. So as you are choosing to use that product, that is something to hold on to as you're thinking. They also are trying to catch up in technology. They haven't quite gotten there yet. They are not even opening the door for what is coming with AI and how that's going to integrate into your daily business. So just think on it. Matrix is the largest MLS provider across the country. I also find them to be a little less enthusiastic about building and developing. We talk about it in our exec meetings and stuff and where we're going with them. And they're working, but they're not working fast. They're like 3 years away from having their own API. That's the way they shove information into the web. And they're not there yet. So they're slower. Flex is going to be one of your faster options. Zenlist is the fastest in our market, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Besides having just 3 MLS systems, because that's definitely not enough, we're going to work towards by the end of this year 2 more. You have a ton of business enhancing tools from Doorify. If you are a licensed realtor in this room today, the number one on this screen that you should load up on your phone is Forewarn. It is a way for you as a broker to keep yourself safe. You have a license. You should never go show a property without doing a quick little background check on anyone that calls you. This gives you simple financials, simple criminal, and lets you know if there's anything you need to be like aware of red flag wise. I'd like for everybody to come home every single night. Please do not be prepared to work. We like redundancy, right? Like I talked about that a little bit earlier. Like our goal is to make sure that you're never without information. That's why we have 3 MLS systems. If one goes down, you have 2 others that could still be working and you still be able to keep working. Might be awkward because you don't know it, but at least you'd still be working. But we didn't think one set of stats was enough. We added in another. They are similar, but they are not the same. The same thing is true for HomeSpotter and Zenlist. Zenlist could potentially next year be your front end of choice because their search algorithms are very, very fast and unique. If you were to set them up against some of the other choices, Zenlist will take information out of Listing Manager in about 2 seconds. The next fastest is Zillow at 3 minutes. And then it goes down the list. Flex MLS is about 3 minutes and 1 second. Paragon is about 5 minutes. Matrix is about 10 minutes. You guys see what I'm talking about how fast? If you want the fastest notification that a listing is active and in the market, that's the tool. But we did this on purpose because it forces people to step up their game. I love how our CEO's brain works because he actually said, how fast is that? And they went about 3 seconds. And he went, let's do a time comparison. Set up this time comparison against all of our MLS systems and laid it next to them and then posted it on social media. The phone started ringing immediately. The CEOs of all of the other companies are like, why would you do that to us? And he said, I didn't do anything to you. I'm telling the truth. We're being transparent. Here's how you make a choice. You get to pick which tool suits your needs. If you don't care that Paragon was 4 or 5 minutes out, it doesn't matter to me. You can stay where you are. It's just what makes it go faster. Did you want your client to get the notification before it hits Zillow? Yes. And this might be the tool you need to take a look at.
Now you're talking having your front end be one of the three we're on the old, and then setting up your client.
In January, this became your front end.
Can it?
It will.
Okay, that's what I was asking, because I do have a lot of searches on Zenlist and I love getting the notifications.
I'm a big fan of
But I'm just trying to get how do I connect them now? Or is it just a separate search at this time?
Right now it's still holding separate.
Okay.
It's coming.
Okay.
I'm so excited about that. Let me talk on that for a second, Keith, because it is the coolest thing. So for those of you that have not started using Zenlist, we are giving you what is called the trial basic plan. It is one client option, but you can do all your search. They have a desktop and a mobile app. It is amazingly fast and clean. It looks so pretty on the desktop. I actually am a huge fan of the desktop. I don't know if you play with it on the desktop.
Yep.
It is a really clean search. I have been HomeSpotters like cheerleaders since the day they entered our market, and they are a search algorithm, right? They are an incredible search tool. They partner well with your clients. You share them a broker branded version. You become the agent of record on every listing within our MLS. That's how they work. Zenlist is the same way, but you're partnering with your client in a different way. Here's the thing that's super cool about Zenlist is they, at this time, we're limited. You can buy up, but if you chose in January to have it as your front end of choice, you get unlimited client interactions and you wouldn't have to think about anything else. You'd have one source. Because why would you need a Paragon or a Flex or something else when you have this kind of a tool? That's the kind of tools we're trying to bring to you to put in your hands as your MLS. We don't want you to feel limited to what you have. We feel like there are 6 other CMA tools within our market already. You already had access to it, and we added in another, CMA Snap. It is a premium product, so there's a fee that goes with it if you chose to add that in. I was surprised. People pay for it because they like how fast that algorithm works. It's so much better than what they've seen. All right, listing agents in the room. How many of you are putting video in your listing? Yes, thank you for putting video in your listing. We love it. That's what Welcome Mat is for. We needed you to have a tool that made that easy, because you go out and spend money to get these beautiful branded videos made. And then the rules for the MLS say, oh, wait, you cannot put your branded video in there because we don't want to see your face, your company information, all that. We fixed it. We've got this partnership with Welcome Mat, which is included in your MLS subscription, that helps you chapter out the pieces that need to be in and the pieces that don't. So when I go in and put my listing in, I chapter out the front and the back where all my personal branding is. And then in the middle, it goes in the MLS. But when it goes out in the IDX feed, my broker branding is already there where it needs to be. Did you not know that?
No, can you, we're gonna,
All right,
you're going to email them that we're having a breakdown class with you, and then we're gonna do a whole series, Christy, just 6 to 10 here. We're gonna do a whole series.
Welcome Mat does this piece that is just amazing. So I have a branded video. I mean, you pay good money for this, right? You have paid your videographer to create this amazing tool. Hey, I'm Christy Webster. I'm selling you this house at 123 Main Street. Here's my contact information. Let's take a walk through the house. That's a chapter. And then we take all of our time and go tour this amazing property. And then we get to the end of that. And I say, thank you so much. If you've got questions, come see me at www.123mainstreet.com. Cannot have that beginning and end in the MLS. So Welcome Mat, when you upload your video, you chapter out that part, and it takes the whole video and uploads it, but it hides those 2 chapters in the bookend. And then up goes this great video that is you touring this beautiful property. And then in the end, when it goes out to your IDX feed, I'm sending it to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to all of my IDX sites that I send it to, all of the sudden it's got, hey, I'm Christy Webster. Here's 123 Main Street. Hey, join me at 123mainstreet.com. So it is that kind of a tool. And we felt like that tool set is what you need to be successful. We find that listings with videos within our MLS ecosystem and outside of that system have 50% more click-throughs than listings without, because people need to feel the space. So it makes a big, big difference. And we are big on redundancy. This is an important piece for us, is to make sure things have the opportunity for you to continue to see what is redundant and not feel trapped by, I don't like that product, I want to go use something else, try it. If you don't like it, ignore it. If you've never used it or you need help, we have class structure set up so that you can learn all about it. We did a huge update, and this is the short list. We changed over some fields at the end of July to give you more yes, no's, more auto pops. Because one of the things that we're trying to make your jobs easier at as listing agents is when you do listing entry, it can be a little cumbersome. There's a lot of fields. We are fully aware of that, but listings that have all those fields done, people really like. Agents on the other side love it too. So we're trying to make sure that that is happening easier. The auto pop with the tax record is huge. Don't be afraid of it. Hit that button and let it do its job. You're already going to verify it. You know what the listing is like. You were already in the space, use it. But these are allowing some of those fields to be auto popped, so you're not having to think quite as hard. I talked a little bit about Welcome Mat already, but I wanted to revisit Rental Beast. I have a few rental properties, and it's always hard because I don't have a property management company. I do this stuff by myself. My mom is a realtor and has been for almost 50 years. Oh my gosh, she's going to kill me for saying that out loud. And she still does properties, but she has people that call her and just keep referring. I'm like, please stop. But I've heard agents tell me this, that sometimes you have those clients that you've been working with over and over, and they're your repeaters, and they call you and go, hey, we're going to keep this house at the beach, but we want to do like rental with it, or we're going to keep these townhomes because the kids are no longer in college. You think you could do the rental for me? And yeah, it's hard and it's uncomfortable, but you have access now. Because rentals can go in Doorify MLS. We have no penalty. You're doing your listing manager is still where you put that listing. But sometimes you need a screening tool. And we've left the partnership with Rental Beast in place because they have an incredible tenant screening tool. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's included in your MLS fees. It's $35 for them to do the application and the tenant screening. And you don't even have to look at it. You can forward it on to your homeowner because maybe they're just one door. Right? So it's an incredible tool. Yes, you could still pay and have Rental Beast Pro. I have a friend who's a property manager in this area. And when we first launched, he was like, I don't know about this. And he tried it. And we jokingly referred to it as his door dating system, because mom and pops put their rental listings up on places like Rental Beast, Zillow, all those things. And he goes, then I start to court them. And eventually I can sign them. So maybe that's your niche. Maybe that's what you needed. So there are ways to upgrade that and build on top of it. All right, before I pop past that, are there any questions on those two? Because I love some Welcome Mat. It is the tool that will change your listing. And if you're working with a rental, it's the one that's going to take you to that next place, because you don't have to do the work. You don't have to go find something special, especially if you're one-off door for a past client. All right, so we added 2 new products that were developed in-house by our technical team, and they are the dashboard products. They're a listing help report and a production report. All right, production we kind of lost a little bit of this production report when we did multiple front ends of choice, because you can't see how many times your listing was reviewed or looked at. It gets a little frustrating because there's 3 systems. I don't know who looked in one and did in the other. We have been building this out, and we've actually been able to pull in Zillow's click-through rates and open rates. We've been able to pull in all of Paragon's. Why did we pick Paragon? Because 70% of the subscribers to Doorify stuck with it. So we went with the one that had the most usage. Next is Flex, and then we'll do Matrix. But this gives you that transaction history and lets you see what's happening with your product. It also lets us look at where you are. How many listings have you sold this year, last year, the last 10 years? How long have you had your license? It is tied to your license number. You are attached to a team. You are someone underneath someone else, and it's never your listing. It's always that person and you co-broke. We now see you. We're acknowledging that you had a transactional hand in that. And so you can see how that impacts you. it is a nice thing to take into that listing presentation when they're asking, well, I don't see that you've had any transactions. Well, I have, but this is how my career has worked. So I am part of an amazing team, and this is our team level. So let's talk about what my team brings to the table. Because it's a different feel when you're in that. I like the listing health report, and this is going to continue to grow and evolve. And the more feedback you guys give people like me when I'm in your space or you've seen it, it lets us help you figure out where you need to be. Like if I filled in all of these forms, if I used these keywords, where does my listing stand? We'll give you a grade, 0 to 100. So you get 50. You might want to go back and relook at your listing. We find that listings that use these words in its descriptions sell this much faster. Maybe you need to figure out how to add that word into your description. Maybe that's something that a search algorithm is picking out. So these things are continuing to be added and built upon. So just keep an eye on these. I can show you live. April, I pulled yours up. It looks so good. But OccuCell list. Oh, here you go. This is the one that is going to change how you do your job every day, especially if you are part of multiple MLSs anywhere in the country. OccuCell is a platform that uses AI technology. It uses a product called Real Reports. It uses some other really amazing tools that keep information. So it's funny. It says right now, this isn't actually, the link was in original testing, and we were getting 75% of the fields in an MLS listing completed. We are now over 110. But it takes 60 plus sources and pulls all that data in. It takes the pictures that were uploaded by your photographer on your behalf, because you don't want to do that part. That's a painful job. Nobody wants to do it. I'm going to send my photographer a link to a listing, and they're going to pull in all the photos for me. Oh, wait, I had the appraiser go out and measure. He's going to be able to upload the floor plan with all the proper measurements. I'm going to go in and verify everything. And then I'm going to go, yep. Oh, wait, did I mention that the AI writer has now given me beautiful descriptions for every picture? So that's the most painful job. I don't know about y'all, but I used to hate that job. You have to go in and reorder the photos, and then you have to, it's perfectly brilliant. And then we get to make sure that everything is correct. It says, okay, so you happen to be part of 5 MLS, you happen to be part of Doorify MLS, you happen to be part of Georgia MLS, and this is a property on the coast, but you want to send it to all 3 at one time. All right, you ready? Check. Oh, could you also send this to this Instagram, this Facebook, and this website for me? And it says, you ready? And I went, yep. And it's done. It recognized the rules for each of those independent MLSs. It knew what I could and could not send to those other sites. And I only had to do listing entry in one place. I was not obligated or instructed that I had to go to this one and do it, or I had to go to this one. I'm going to use Hive because they actually will launch OccuCell within about 4 weeks of when we go live. So if you're part of those 2 MLSs sitting side by side here in this area, don't worry, you're only going to have to do one listing entry. It's
But not matrix yet. That one's not identified.
so you mean longleaf pine?
Yeah.
We are hopeful.
The question about that is it going to talk to each other when it comes to uploading your docs and showing time and things like that? So it'll only be one.
It's one singular source. It'll look just like you do listing entry now, but you're going to use
It's so much right now.
I know.
Especially
Really great. It is one of those tools that take the day-to-day task to the next level. And it's not meant to limit your ability to verify and change things, because you've been in the property. I haven't. One of the things that's down the road for them is a little bit of voiceover while you're walking through. You can start building your listing while you're in the property. Like you're walking through the property, you'd be able to talk into it and tell it things so that it could do that. We're going to hold that back until we verify the rest. Is like everybody loves it, but that's a piece they've already had with a product called Lundy. If you have an Alexa at home and you wanted to have her help you find a property and you ask her to tell you about a property, the tool Lundy is already the back end on that. It uses large language models for voice activation. There are a lot of really fancy words for if I were to say, hey, Alexa, play 123 Main Street's description. Right? You have a visually impaired client. That's what you need. You need them to give that in-depth AI generated description. You can do a great job. You're a broker, right? You know how to talk about real estate. The walls are this lovely shade of navy. There's some white accents. Yes, we can do those things. But for me to be that specific to hit that type of level is so incredible. And we have 2 tools that are coming probably within the next 2 months. One will go at the end of this month. August 26th is the actual date. I got it yesterday. I'm super stoked about that. Real reports. This is basically your Carfax for a listing. It is 75-ish, 60 to 75-ish points where it goes out and pulls everything you ever wanted to know about a house, a property, a parcel, everything. You thought you knew it all, but maybe you don't. And this is going to give you that. This is for brokers in our market. This is not this is not a consumer product at this time. But it's going to give you these incredible tools to go back and share. Talk about stepping up your game for your buyers. Like you're going to be like, hey, here's everything you need to know. We ought to like make sure we're talking about these things. What if I'm listing that property? There's a house in my neighborhood that has been on the market. It is the exact same floor plan. I live in a condo. I have a full basement in my 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, right? The house down the street saw it listed. It came up, got 2 bedrooms downstairs, and it's condo in our 2-bath condo. And they went under contract. I met the new people coming in. I'm so excited. I'm going to have like these really neat neighbors because it's the shared wall with mine. They called and said, we walked. Apparently the entire basement was unpermitted and it was not disclosed. Here's why. Because it was in an estate and nobody in the estate knew that it had never been permitted. But had they been able to do real reports, they'd have known. Material fact, I know. I've already had that. My brain went crazy.
What we run into a lot out here, obviously, but it's too old to find a permit, so we don't have any documentation to provide it. So I kind of love this, and I'm nervous about it at the same time.
I'm nervous about it, but I'm so excited about it. I can't
Yeah,
because it's going to show every time the tax records update. Like it's every time the tax records updated. So I went from being a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, right? Because we knew we built something. Tax assessors came out. They saw that the house had changed, so they're catching on to things. So we see things happening. And yeah, I love the older homes because you don't know what it is. Don't know what a bedroom is, right? Whatever building code dictates. It's not what you think it is. It's what building code dictates that a bedroom is defined as. Right. So and it's
funny. MLS every 6 months, like tell this agent that it doesn't have to have a closet to be considered a bedroom. That was a rule that went out like 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's what building code says. Egress, perhaps,
Egress.
It's like the Sidekick AI. So Sidekick data it might actually replace your front end of choice. In about a year, I think we'll all be really comfortable with talking to our AI a lot more. We'll kind of hit a different level of comfort with it. But Sidekick is supposed to be your assistant, your helper. I'm going to set up all these things I want done, and it's going to be able to do it. Mundane task. Send a birthday email to all the clients when their birthday comes up. Baseline task, right? I need to set up searches for this level of property. It's going to be able to do that. I'm going to be driving down the road talking to my client, and I can pop this up and pull up all these searches. And it's going to know what I'm talking about. It's going to be there and be ready to kind of be our helpmate. It's going to change the way I think a lot of agents do things. A couple of reminders real quick. Online training for Doorify MLS. It's free. It's always free. We don't charge for our training. It's always free. I'm going to say it's free. We try to make sure that you have topics that cover everything. In 2 weeks, we'll actually be live and in person with Flex MLS training at the Johnston County offices. If that's not convenient for you and you'd rather go to Raleigh, register and go. It's our training. You're welcome to come. We're going to do it at all 5 of our stakeholders. So you're welcome to go to any of them and to be there and just participate. There's some links in there. And then my fun reminder. All right, I'm trying to remember. Oh, Jason's picture got cut off. I noticed this when I went to look. And hey, April, I went down everybody in your team on your website, and his was the first one that had uploaded a picture to Listing Manager. So that's your job.
Not my job.
Tell those silly agents, hey, I got told. But that's just something. But it's across the board in our MLS. We went doorifymls.com. It's public facing. the blue heads are not pretty. I don't want to see this on our website. I really would love for you to take time to go into Listing Manager, go in your profile, upload your picture. If you don't remember how, I'm glad to show you. There's a link on the dashboard at my.Doorify MLS to get you there. So get your face up there so we can see you. I love a good photo of you. This is my favorite graphic because I think we get asked this question a lot. It's getting ready to get a 4th line item to it. In about a month, we'll start talking about delayed marketing again. We're really going to have that conversation because the new NAR ruling will be pushed out as we get to September. But
No, you're talking in code, but you mean coming soon, right?
yeah, well, delayed marketing is not coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
Maybe more
It-
like no showings.
Yeah, kind of. It means that if I want to have where I don't IDX feed a listing, I want people to know that are in the industry, but I don't want it syndicated. It will be a delayed it's called the delayed marketing. Yeah, I'm not like we're still trying to tweak out how we want to explain it. IDX, yes, no, no, for that one listing. But right now we know an active listing is 1 calendar day, a coming soon listing is 1 calendar day, and office exclusive 1 business day. Right. So just make sure you're telling us, and there's forms to go with that. I think the links are actually in the deck when you go to share it. I do love that little graphic. I think it's a good way to think about what you're doing next with those tools. All right. So we do something that is, in my humble opinion, only better than anybody else in our state. Can't claim it for the whole, but our support team works 7 days a week. We are live and in person 7 days a week. Shorter hours on the weekend, but we are here and we don't go home at 5 o'clock because we understand realtors work later. So you are getting us until 8 p.m. We also do live chat. You get to talk to a person during our hours. It's not a bot. It is after hours. So you can still ask the Dory bot questions, but it is a lot of great information being had. We love the emails. We answer them. And there's somebody that answers them I've found at midnight on our team. I went, you're not supposed to do that. Makes the rest of us look bad. I'm the one that got in trouble one day because they're like, stop